What's up, Internet? I'm Tashi, this is Dizzy, and this is M, and welcome to our podcast.
Hey,
Oh, what's up?
Okay, alright.
What it do, baby?
shut
As
up.
you said that you were in a creative rut, or you were getting into a creative rut?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, especially towards the end of the year, I feel like you have a lot of deadlines for any artists out there, well, writers too, because you kind of sign up for these things in the midway of the year and the deadlines kind of
At the end of
linger
the year.
around now.
Mm.
Yeah, if not like the very cusp of January. And so you get so burnt out because not only are you trying to create your own stuff, but also work on these, I'll just call them assignments because that's how they feel to me. But you have all this, and then a lot of commissions too, because people want gifts. Not for me though, but hey, money my way. Anywho, you have all these things, and you just, I don't know, it's balancing work and something that you're obviously either good at or at least like to do, a hobby, and it just kind of crushes your brain and your spirit, I feel like.
Honestly, I understand that though, because if I'm being completely honest, I have been stuck in a creative rut for like 4 months. Um, like, I feel like it's obviously I'm not the talented enough to be able to do like actual work for anybody because nobody
It's
wants
not
any
about
of
talent.
wants any of my drawings, nor does anybody want anything I wrote.
You
But
never know, girl.
girl, let me
Yeah, bro, that's what
trust
I
me,
said.
you don't.
Gosh, there are
I
literally people that will pay so
I
much
already know
money
what she
for
gonna say.
feet pics. I think.
M saw the picture of the whale that I drew.
I literally just said I paid for the whale, so don't put my name in your mouth.
Also,
Cap, like,
what are
bro.
the what's that new thing? It's not cryptocurrency, but it's like
The
that.
NFTs, and the
NFTs.
monkey things. Don't
Yeah,
get me started on that. We are not getting started on
NFTs.
that. We are not getting started on that.
Okay.
We're not. I'm
Non-fungible
not.
tokens.
I am legally not allowed to speak about that without immediately wanting to kill.
All right.
Anyways,
Mhm.
So
I've
bad for them.
I have been attempting to at least write a manga for some time, and I usually write a decent amount every month. For the
Oh,
past
you better than me.
when I say decent amount, I mean like 2 paragraphs.
No,
but
broski,
But like,
broski.
no, that's why I was
That's what I'm
like, but like,
saying.
you know, that's doing something at least.
Because
Right.
I would always been like, oh, I want to do a comic or something, or at least like small little ones, like
Yeah,
And
Mhm.
every time I sit down, I'm like, I'm gonna do something. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. I could just
right.
draw
No,
ass and tits.
that that's
And
how
I've
I've been.
read Tosh's like some of his
Manuscript?
entries in his little manga, and they are like incredibly detailed. So even if it's just 2 paragraphs, like it's not like boring.
It's not
Yeah, I
boring at
actually
least.
remember it was an interview between Tolkien and King.
Mhm.
And he was like, yo, how do you write? Like you're like in the amount of time it takes for me to write a page, like months, literal months, you've written like 4 novels. Like what the hell? And he was like, I force myself to write 6 pages a day. And he was like, you don't just sit there and like tear your hair out. And he's like, I don't know, I just make it happen.
Yeah,
Must be other drugs he does, but even then,
No, that's crazy.
it's real.
Charlie.
Honestly though, it could be because I'm not gonna say anything.
Oh,
Oh,
he said Percocet. Molly
Oh,
Anyways, I was listening to the episode we just put out last week, and listening back, I literally don't know what happens when we record. I blank out and I forget everything I've said until I listen to it again, and I'm like, wow,
me
I
too.
sound really stupid. I hope no one like drags me for that because I didn't even know what I was trying to say. So like, don't take it
Aw.
seriously unless I say I mean it with my full chest. And so far, I think I've only said that about Wakanda Forever and how much I hate Nav. And those things I do stand by still.
that's insane. I mean, not the Wakanda for everything, because that's none of my
That's
business.
valid.
Creative ruts suck. How do you get out of them?
That's
Okay,
a great
well,
question because I have been stuck in a creative rut ever since I was a senior
say
in
you're
high
born.
school.
Oh,
Senior in
fantastic.
high school, for sure.
Fantastic.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Why? I can shed some light. I
Yes,
can give some
how, please,
advice.
how do you exit a creative rut?
Well, okay. I will say I rarely get one. I get one maybe twice a year.
Oh,
But
you're
when I get
lucky.
one, I know. Relax. I think also it's my methods, so let's
Okay, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
listen to me carefully. Anyway, I just think one, it's like be proactive, not reactive type.
Night.
Don't wait for a creative rep before you start. Like, okay, what can I do to get out of it? Notice the signs and then go, all right, I gotta chill out a little bit. For one.
Now,
I've been
now when you
chilling out
say
for years
Wait,
though.
yeah, can I finish?
now when you
Can
say
I
chill out, what
finish?
do you mean?
That's what I'm saying. I think everybody's different, and the reason why people get creative ruts are different. But at least in my case, it's because I'm pushing myself to do things that I don't have any passion for. So instead of like experimenting and creating, like the actual act of just making something from scratch, I'm purposely trying to fit a mold, aka rubrics, which is what happens when people do things like that for school or for work. Rubrics, templates, standardized things. Oh, I'm making money off of this, so it has to look a certain way so that they're all consistent because yada yada, for marketing purposes and also like, people want to know what they're paying for, which is
Continuity,
completely
yeah.
fine. Yeah, thank you. That's what I wanted. Um, Yada yada yada. But I think you have to allow yourself a little bit of headastery when you make anything. And what I mean by that is everything you create, you gotta allow a little. I'm gonna fuck around and find out. Just simple. It doesn't matter how standardized it is, because the thing is, you do that naturally when you make stuff, and that's what people are attracted to because it ends up being your brand. It's not like the way you draw a certain thing, or the way you mix a certain sound, or the way you format a certain anything. It's just the fact that you're doing it, so it's coming from your brain, which is already unique enough. And think about it, like everybody has done whatever, okay? Like it's all been done before, but it hasn't been done by you.
I
So
see what
you
you mean.
just gotta, yeah, you just gotta like put your own spin on it without putting your own spin on it, because you doing it is already your own spin. I think people become so obsessed with making something distinct that they don't realize just by doing it, it's already become distinct.
See, I feel like my problem in creative ruts isn't necessarily that like I don't have the passion. For me, it's more so like I don't have any, like my mind is literally just a blank when it comes to any creative idea for what I'm trying to
And
continue.
I got you. That's what ends up happening to me when I'm in a rut. Like I start slowing down, and when I try to do things that I normally do, it's just like twice as difficult. It's like being constipated creatively.
Yeah, like that's why I actually that's actually why I drew the picture of the whale, because I was like, well, maybe if I do something simple, basic like this, it'll get my creative juices flowing. I'll be able to, think of other stuff, like I was trying to just get the brain flowing basically, and it still didn't work. I still have no idea what is going to happen.
My take on that is like when that, because we have a similar issue. I just recreate things that I already like, whether it's like a screenshot of something or something I drew before. That actually helps me a lot because then it's like a physical thing of like your improvement, or just something that already exists, because that takes out all the create like the newness from it, and all I have to do is just do it. It's just like you can space out and do it, and it doesn't matter how ugly, how fast, how complete, because the whole point is that it's already done. So that's like easier for me. Now, sometimes I think you also like have to realize like forcing yourself to sit down and like feel something is not going to work as well.
Never.
Like you
It's
have
never
to,
gonna work.
right. Because we create from our experiences, and or things that are collaborated and like stepped on or experiences. So you have to go out and like experience. And if that means you have to touch grass because you don't touch grass because you're too busy being in your mama's basement, like you gotta go do that. And that doesn't mean like, wow, okay, well I touched grass, I went swimming. Now what? It's like, yeah, that was being creative. Like that was it. Those photos you took on your phone, that feeling you felt, that was creativity. I'm sorry it wasn't tangible.
Hmm. I think one of the biggest issues for me when it comes to like art block is usually when I tell people like, yeah, I'm kind of like at a loss. I don't really know what to do or what to make or like how to finish this thing that I started and I was so passionate about it before and now it just kind of like fizzled out. So that so many people will then just tell me like, well, just like make what you want and keep like trying to do XYZ and then like I don't know. Sometimes I feel like when people try to motivate me to continue to make something or like to finish something that is creative, it just like throws me for a whole loop and makes me feel even less inclined to
Oh,
continue
you got
working.
washing dishes syndrome. It's like when your mom was like, "Are you gonna wash
What
the
the
dishes?"
hell
and
is
you were gonna wash the dishes, and now you're like, "Well, I don't want to wash the dishes." That's what you
Yeah.
have.
I also I
Damn, that's a
think
disease.
It
you
really
already
is a
talked about this
disease.
before, but I think it also doesn't help that I mean, honestly, maybe thank God I wasn't a film major because I probably would have been so much more burnt out than I am now. But I definitely think like having to constantly push out new ideas and like absolutely just like creative vomit on projects just because I had to, because there was a deadline and because it counted towards my
Yeah,
grades
deadlines
for
are what
school
kill
and
me.
stuff.
That's what gives me art block more than anything.
Yeah.
Deadlines. I'm
So
like, if I want to work on this and put my whole heart and soul in it, and then one day wake up and be like, actually, I want to draw something completely different and abandon it and never think about it ever again, then I get to do that.
that's fair. But now also I was talking to Em about this a little bit while Tosh was in the bathroom. um, but I was saying like even now that I'm trying to like get a job in the video field, I'm honestly starting to question like is this something that I would prefer to keep as a hobby or to like make a career out of? Because now I'm kind of just like so like the last thing that I made was like a demo reel of my work because I literally had to and able to apply to jobs and stuff. But even that took me so long. Like I was supposed to start in May of this year and I didn't finish until like what, last month maybe. And
Mhm.
it's just like that's what I'm like honestly like kind of concerned about when I do start working in this industry, like am I just gonna become so disinterested and like if I do have all these deadlines, like for this job that I was just talking to you guys about, that there's turnover every single day. Like, and sometimes it's more than one project a day. And even though they're shorter than what I'm used to, like, am I gonna mentally be able to handle that? I don't know.
I see.
Like,
I see what you're saying. I feel like that's actually a great segue into the next topic. Actually, um, of hobby versus passion.
mm.
I feel like. Have you lost your passion for filmmaking?
See, that's a great question. I've asked myself that quite a bit since
Mhm.
I graduated.
Right.
Well, do you
I
still
don't
enjoy it?
I mean, I definitely still enjoy it and like, there are days when I'm literally just doing the most mundane things ever and then I'll just have an idea of like, oh, this shot would look so cool. Or like
Do you
sometimes
think
I
like
have
that?
random bursts of like, oh, I do want to like edit or learn how to do this specific thing or whatever. And then like as soon as I go to do it, I'm like, actually, I have no interest in doing this anymore.
I know
Like,
exactly how you feel.
Yeah, that
literally,
happens to me too.
when Tosh and I we were recording a video that I was like all excited about, and I was like, yeah, I think this will be like a fun way to like make me make something, you know, that I'm actually having fun filming and making and editing, and like I don't have to take it seriously because it's not for anybody. And then I sat down and downloaded all the footage and organized it and stuff, and I haven't touched it since. Like, I don't actually know.
Oh wait, the footage didn't get cut. It was and actually recorded.
No, it definitely got cut.
Oh well,
So,
never mind.
I mean, obviously that was disappointing, but I don't
I
even
mean,
think that's the reason why I haven't
no,
touched
it
it. Like,
probably
I
isn't.
there's something in my brain that's like, I don't know. I have a hard time finishing things, but like once I have an idea and like a vision of something, I'm like, oh yeah, that's so cool. And then I start off like so fiery and so hot about it, and then it just like it's like a slap in the face. Like, okay, never mind. I take it
Well,
back.
then, let me ask you this. What's your definition of finished?
Like
An actual completed work,
making the video.
right? Like,
Yeah. Like it's
Well,
one thing to film stuff, which I do enjoy, like just and I have in the past year been trying to be more lenient with myself and just like, you know, just take the camera around with you while you're going to walk and like if you see something pretty then record it and that's
that's
fine.
smart. Me,
But
every time I
then
travel, I don't need a sketchbook. I bet.
but then it's like I do enjoy the process of editing and like seeing the final product all put together, like with the music and the voiceovers and all that stuff. But like, I just hit such a fat wall.
What's
I
your
know
favorite part?
exactly what you
What's
mean.
your favorite part?
What is your favorite part of the whole film
Process.
videography progress?
I would say recording stuff,
So then just record a bunch of stuff, just a
So
bunch of raw footage.
but then it's
You don't
like,
have to do anything for it. That's not the point. Just get your raw footage. Do your favorite part.
mm, mm.
Why not? Just because it has to be done? No one's expecting anything from you, quite frankly. And I say this in a way to like kind of play devil's advocate and also just to roast you, but it's like obviously you're not making anything, so why would I care if you finish it?
okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Well,
Just
that's
feel
why
me.
now I'm like, in terms of back to the topic, career versus hobby, like, am I gonna survive in this industry if I have like no desire to finish what I've started? Like, it's
Well,
one thing in these jobs to like record, but the other responsibility of the work and getting paid for it is to have a final product
I
by a
think
certain deadline.
just to
Sure, there's
play,
positions though that
just
where you literally just have raw footage and your job is to record.
just to play like real devil's advocate and not bully Dizzy. Um,
Thanks.
That was supposed to be like good though.
it could
No,
be.
I'm not offended. I'm not offended. I know what
It
you mean.
could. It could be a thing where, let's say, you do get the job. It could be a thing of where being in that environment, it could actually like you having so many things to like people around you, so many things to do, and all that good stuff. It could, spark you. It could make you be like, "Wow, wait,
That's
this is really
true.
cool. I like this. I like being in this world of like fast paced action, of recording things and editing them quickly. Because it could be like a thing where your brain is just like your brain could just be like, this is taking too long. This should have already been done. I'm bored with this now.
That's
Mm.
true. He is
That is
totally
fair.
right.
Yeah.
Because
Because
I
my brain
know
does that too.
I was just about to say, I know I do that sometimes where I'm like, dang, I don't want to do
It
this
be that
anymore.
ADHD for real.
No, for real. Like you just be like, wow, like you don't even mean to do it, but your brain is just like, this should have been done like 3 years ago. No, I'm done. This is boring.
It's like
On to the next thing.
it's like Toy Story when he's playing with his toys. And
I
he's
don't
like,
wanna
I'm bored of you. I don't want to play with you.
No, literally though, it's literally that.
Yeah.
I feel like my problem, both with passion and creative ruts and hobbies, is that like so at when I'm at work, I will think of 10 million different things that I could be doing
So
that I would
real.
actually be enjoy doing. Um, like I'll think of things to do in different video games that I play, things to write down for the manga, just different pictures to draw that I even though I like because I want to actually learn how to draw well. Like there's like I think of so many different things that I could do, and then by the time I get home, I'm just like, bro, I'm tired. I don't want to do anything other than just sit down and maybe just potato out to some random YouTube
That's what
video.
happens to adults, man. They get and they don't do anything fun anymore. And I'm like, bro, I could never do that. And I get like that too with work. And that's kind of why I wanted to bring up this topic to begin with, because balancing work and just like my hobby of art, and it's like, keep in mind, I do not want to do absolutely anything with art whatsoever
Mm,
besides I draw fun thing. I
mm,
have fun.
mm.
Like a little kid playing in the mud. Okay. But it's just so I notice such a shift in my mood when I don't have time dedicated to my hobby and what makes me happy. And it's like it's just so draining though, because it's like you go to work and you do all this stuff and you have to deal with actual in real life stuff, and then and you're thinking about how much fun you could be having doing literally anything else. And then you come back and you're like, okay,
I'm
this
drained.
is my time to do my task. And then you try to force yourself to do it and you're like,
We're not
I
having
don't want to
fun.
do it. I don't want to do it. And it's like, it's because, it's not natural.
It's
But
not fun.
I have,
It's
I
not
have no
fun to
idea how to
do.
cure that. I have
Like
no idea how to cure that. You have to wait until you retire just to have a life. I think
like
that's
I
just capitalism.
I work 5 days a week, so like I have 2 days to actually do stuff. But then
Me too, but
like
it's just not the same. I know what
that's
you
why I'm
mean.
like, but then like by the time that I'm actually like by the time okay, so I don't work Mondays and Thursdays. By the time Monday or Thursday comes around, I'm just like, bro, I'm exhausted from working the job that I work. I don't have energy. I don't got the passion. I just don't got it to do anything.
Mm.
Like I said,
Yeah.
I'll be at work thinking of so many different things that I could be doing in video games. Like there's a video game that I play that might
Minecraft, period.
no. Well, I mean yes, but no.
I'm not
Um
allowed.
there's a video game that I play. It's a city builder game, but the main part of the game that I enjoy is making road networks. It's fun. It's cool to do. I'll be
Nerd.
thinking
Just
shut up.
kidding.
Yeah, I was about
I'll
to
be thinking
say.
of I'll be thinking of random like different road junctions that I could be doing at work, and then like I get home and I load up the game and I just look at my screen and I'm like, yeah, I could start here. No, I don't want to play this.
I know, it's like Animal Crossing too, for
It's
anybody
like,
who's
bro,
not
come
an absolute
God,
industrial
that has
loser.
also been me for the past couple months. I can't even open my Animal Crossing because I'm
I've
like,
been trying
oh,
to do it more lately because I've been watching one of the only freaking YouTuber I can tolerate that talks. Um and she is always working. I'm like, oh, I could do this and I can do that. Yeah, yeah. You know what? I'm gonna play that game when I get home. And I'm thinking about it at work, like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna set up a picnic basket here
hmm
with the little ooh, and then Goldie can be ooh. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm really like
yeah.
surviving right here.
You be getting in depth with it at work too. You be
Right,
like, I
right.
gotta
I'm
do
like trying to
this. I
put
gotta
in the
put that.
hours. I'm trying to put in the
Mm-hmm.
hours. And
Mm-hmm.
then I get home and I'm like, that's crazy.
No, literally, you're like, dang, that's crazy.
It
I
can be
really,
harmless. It's cool.
nah, I get home and I be like, dang, I really thought about all that stuff at work. That's
Wait,
crazy.
I'm like, I don't even remember half of that. Not for
I
real.
swear.
And then
yeah.
sometimes it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna write it down. Hey, and I think I've won it. And then I look at it, I'm like, maybe what was I even talking about?
No,
Or
but
like, now
bro,
that don't even make sense because like here, and like I purposely make up all these excuses and not even try it.
yeah.
Like I don't even like try it.
I also
Bottom
think,
line,
oh,
bottom line, capitalism sucks.
well,
Yeah,
we
man.
been knew this.
I know, but I feel like every single podcast we're like, oh, anyway, this is a podcast about hating capital. It really is, though.
Anti-capitalist podcast.
Can we?
Damn, are we socialists?
I
No, we're because listen, this was not the same earth he promised Adam and Eve. That's all I'm trying to say. That's it. He did not say, "Ooh, wouldn't you like to work a 9 to 5 until you die and you can't afford to retire?" Ooh, and even then, your retirement plan gives you nothing, so you still have to work until you genuinely slip and die at work, but you don't even get workers' comp and they don't give anything to your family because what were you doing that for?
Mm,
Ooh, like yeah, I know he was not promising that.
yeah. Also, I just want to say quickly to you and Tasha's point of like how you work your job and then you come home and you think you're gonna do something creative and then it just goes out the window.
yeah.
Sometimes, and recently again, I've honestly been thinking like maybe I would be better off in terms of like my creative pursuits to like just work a job that has absolutely nothing to do with
Yeah.
my hobby because then I could still like build up a portfolio and do like freelance work on the side, which is something that I'm already like dipping my toes into. And I feel like I like that so much better than having to do like just continue because then it's like the same thing when I was in school where for 4 years I didn't make anything
For
really that I
yourself.
wanted to. Yeah,
Mm.
besides I don't even know if you guys remember the times where like at the end of the semester when finals would come up and I would just start going crazy in my room and like record myself dancing to songs and then posting them on my Instagram because I thought it was funny. Uh like those
Actually,
I
but
think
that
those
sounds
are
real.
but that's like I don't know if I can handle like the rest of my life doing the same thing because I don't think that one, I'm gonna burn out so quickly, I feel like. And two, I think that already like I'm having so many second thoughts about going into this industry that I thought that I've wanted to go into for a couple of years now. And I'm like, well, what is the purpose if like I'm not even as passionate as the next person that is like so passionate and they have so many ideas and they're
I
good
got
at
you
like
for that one. I
uh,
got you for that one. I
uh,
got you for that one. You know why? Because this is a really big thing in artists, and they'll be like, "Here's 16-year-old God, okay, making Leonardo look like a cheap AI, all right?" And they're just like, "Haha, yeah. Anyway, I have a English one," and then you're like, "Broski, I have been dedicating myself to this craft for da 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 years, and I have to sell peas just to feed me and my family. You know what I mean?" And
Mm-hmm.
it's
mm,
like, broski, what? And then so I'm crafting my
Mm-hmm.
story. And then, or you have like, what's the point in me going to art school or doing this and doing that? As someone who would never do that, I'm just saying. If my colleague is always going to be better or my classmate is always going to be absolutely an arto, but it's like, it's not the point. It's the point that you're all making something. Now this is a little different with your industry as well because it's just like profit. And I think that's why I would never do that because it's just like you're taking the one thing that makes me feel good and something I enjoy and for me is a catharsis and you're putting it into a box. No matter how flexible or how big you say this box is and that I can go crazy as long as it's in the box, it's like you're still putting me in a box.
mm. I also will say that I don't even like I don't think that comparison is an issue for me in terms of like, oh, well, someone can do this better than I could. It's more of like a like someone else is just simply more passionate about it than I am. And
So
like
you
Yeah.
got
especially
the
in my
somebody else
industry
wants it more mentality.
exactly. And like it's not that I don't necessarily want it. It's just that like I do want it. However, but comma I like I just don't have the same like love as I used to, I guess. So I feel like it already just like knocks me down a peg or 5 or 10, you
But
know?
the point, it doesn't matter.
But it's also like this industry specifically so
No, this is Patrick.
cutthroat that it's like if you don't have the passion for it, you're not really gonna make it far. Which is also why I'm like, well, if I just do it on the side, like who's to say that I can't make a film later on in my life? Like even if I start off freelancing right now and then somehow it turns into something else. Like that is still an opportunity that is possible for me.
So, Dizzy, the reason why, how should I put this for the podcast? The reason why my schooling experience went the way that it did was that specific reason of me being like, well, there was a couple of different reasons, but
Yeah, we know.
one of the
Preaching
reasons,
to the choir.
one of the reasons was me being like, I'm not nearly as passionate as I was about this topic as I was even in high school. So
When you
what's the
first
point?
started.
Like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Well, there's the beauty in amateur and being an amateur. It's all how much you have to
Well, so
learn.
it's not necessarily. It's not even about for me at least. It wasn't even about my skill level. Like, it was literally about me being like, this is not nearly as interesting to me as it was
Right. Like I'm
originally.
like incredibly less motivated to do it.
So much so.
Okay, well then, in that case, I'm trying to figure out multiple things I can say to you. It's like
We don't have to have therapy on the pod.
No,
Right, we don't gotta
no,
have
no.
therapy right now.
No,
It's
I'm
okay.
just, but also I feel like there's gonna be a lot of people that hear you and are like, oh yeah, like you're saying what I'm trying to
Yeah,
say.
they
But it's
agree
like,
though.
think about how cool you were, like making mud pies. I can make a career out of this, which at least that was me when I was a kid. Hell yeah. Honestly, I would still do it. That's not the point. The point is, it's okay to have your interest change. Like, we're all so young, and I say that even to like if you're 60,000 years old, immortal being, and you're listening to this podcast. 1, hello. 2, are you single if you're attractive? And 3, I'm sure you've relax. I should at least be able to shoot my shot.
Okay.
Because if you're that old and you don't have good money by now, something's wrong. But anyway, the point is, the option is there.
That's a lot of opportunity to get
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Bent over by life though. So
Oh, that's not how I thought that was going to end. Anyway.
it's a lot of different ways to get.
Interesting way to phrase it. Also.
Yeah. It's like it's okay to have your interest change. Everybody, like, you know what I mean? Like, we've got a piece of raw meat inside our head that like electric pulses are in there, and it's capable of so much garbage and also a bunch of other stuff. And it's like, if you think that little thing in there that is cooking and marinating and it's not even seasoned, look, that is calling the shots of an entire exoskeleton of nastiness and trauma, if we're gonna be frank.
Wait, hold on, pause. Exoskeleton.
Wait. No, shut up. Let me finish. It's gonna have the attention span to be like, I love this so bad. You messing with the wrong shorty for real. And I'm talking about your body. And like, if you want to, and there's some people where they're like, I would literally die doing this and I would still not do it enough, you know, which is totally cool too, right? Me, give me an empanada, I'll die eating that for the rest of my life. I don't care. It's totally cool. And there's ways to like collaborate. Yeah. That's the way I go. It's so, I think a way to do that is like collaborate stuff too. Like, people like those really cool new kind of weird artists that are taking their digital work and mixing it into a different medium. Like, that's about as cool and spectacular as all. And yeah, it's like, oh, but they're doing something so cool. That's why they're in a museum. And it's like, yeah, broski. But like, think about that one artist that I can't remember right now that makes the clay figures, but he's also making music for it. And they're really creepy and weird. But they're so cool and people like it. And he was just doing it for fun. I think you find something that your brain likes and you just do it. It doesn't matter how niche. I mean, there's people that make cups with like real actual human teeth that people send them,
Oh,
and they
God.
make it as deformed as they can, and people go insane for it.
But I think I agree with M. I think there are lots of things that, people don't know that they like until
Yeah.
they are
Yeah.
exposed
Just gotta do
to
it.
it.
Like, you know what I mean? It's all about experimenting and doing fun stuff. And also, like, remembering that we're meant to be, like, leisure animals.
It's
I
hard
don't,
to feel that I'm meant to be a leisure animal when I am constantly
Capitalism.
reminded by the world that I'm not a
how
leisure
has
animal.
society gotten us to the point where we have so many like advanced technologies? Like we have literal supercomputers in our pockets. Like
Because money,
we have
because greed.
like we have freaking telescopes that take pictures of planets and suns literal billions of miles away from us, trillions of
That's
miles away
because
from
of
us.
love, bro. It's
And
not greed.
yet, somehow, some way, I'm still stuck here with this rusty pizza.
But all those creations you made, those are born from love. For real.
I think that, a lot of it also comes from like perspective. Like, I think for the three of us and a lot of other people out there, because we acknowledge that we're not necessarily doing work that we enjoy, or, constantly being put in situations that we also don't enjoy. And, life happens and it's not fair ever, really. Um, I think it's a lot easier for people like us, minorities, and, the lower class to have
That's true.
that perspective of like we all know that when we die, like none of this is gonna matter at all. And like,
It matters.
well, no, I mean in terms of like nobody's gonna give a if I like about the 21 that I got on my first bio test in high school.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I didn't study at all. I know. I'm not proud of it either, but also I'm not good at bio. But the point
it's
is,
also high school, so
this is also true. The point
AP
is,
Bio, hello. We
okay,
come to
I
the
wasn't
wrong one.
in AP. I wasn't that
man.
smart, obviously. But my point is that it's so much easier for us and others to see the world through a lens of like, if
this
you
is
put
messed up.
your passion into it, like that stuff's gonna matter. And like the right people will find your work or you or whatever. But there's so many other people that, like I said before, are so consumed by making a profit or greed or so power hungry that like it's so difficult for them to even recognize that there are people in the world that don't have the things that you need to function as human beings, like food or
Yeah.
a home or clothes, and then they are constantly outcasted because of these things, which is just a whole cycle that continues to go on. But I digress.
Dizzy is just going crazy with the
Yeah, I was about to
excellent
say, I'm
segues
like,
today. What the heck?
I really
It's because
was.
I had an existential crisis earlier this
Oh,
week
jeez.
that was very intense.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I think also too, like to just stem off of that, it's like point blank, like rich people are able to have those type of hobbies. That's why when I see that, oh, this rich person knows how to play violin, that whole stereotype, and it's like, yeah, I would also know how to play violin and the cello and the harp and stuff like that if I didn't have to worry about food on the table.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I would take the time to learn those things.
Yeah, like what you guys were saying earlier too about how like, you work this job that has like no relation to the hobbies you actually enjoy, and then you come home and the weight of the world is on your shoulders. Like you don't want to do what you love. Like it's hard. It is.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. I get home sometimes. I look at Sandy. I'm like, bro, I don't even know if I feel like taking you outside.
I
Like,
know. I understand that too.
it sucks, and it's so like disheartening. I feel like especially for people our age and younger because the world just continues to go up in
And the
flames in front of
employers
our
that are all
faces.
boomers, all the employers that are all boomers are just like, they don't want to work anymore. And it's like, yeah, because we saw what you did to our parents that are beautiful, creative people, you know, and have so much passion for all these things that we know they have passion for, and they couldn't do it. You know why?
Right.
Because you killed them. You literally killed their spirit.
Also, I would say, to add on to that, like, I think it's also so disheartening to see, like, your parents or people that are older than you, that they've, you know, quote unquote, like, done more than I have yet in my life, which is fair because age and experience, whatever. But, like, even they still struggle. And as a young adult or as a kid growing up in this world where you're already witnessing your parents or your family members struggling, and they've done all the quote unquote right things and taken the steps that they need to, and they're still struggling, like, it's even so much more disheartening when, like, they're telling you, you know, you just got to keep working towards your goals and, like, you'll make it. And it's like, well, am I gonna make it, or am I just gonna end up, no offense, like you, like, unhappy and
I
broke?
call that the 1 day fallacy, right? Or the 1 day paradox. I'm sorry. Like,
That's the immigrant dream. That's the
people will
American dream.
constantly, and when I say, like, constantly, say 1 day it'll get better. Like, fun fact for all of you listening, I have depression.
So do I.
So what
Me too.
I
Oh,
talk
Lord.
to certain friends or family members about it, and they always say 1 day it'll get better.
Bing bong.
When? How about that? That's what I always say now, because I'm just like, okay, since when? Because it hasn't gotten better for 22 years, so I'm confused.
He's
What I
gonna
also
keep
say too,
making again.
what I also say too, like, depending on who's talking, I'm just like, well, it didn't for you. But then, you know, that's what I
Okay.
said. It depends on who's talking. Depends on who's talking.
No, honestly though, like, yeah, you're not wrong though. Like, okay, you're saying 1 day it'll get better. It quite literally never got better for you. As a matter of fact, it only
It
got
got
worse for
worse.
you.
I
So
already knew what you were gonna say.
it's not very. It's not very.
I think what they mean to say is it'll get tolerable, or you'll forget what it feels like to be normal. So then you
Which
don't know
I
it.
don't
You'll
like.
just
That's
become numb to it
I don't
all.
want to. I don't. I no. I don't want that. I don't want that.
See, that's why I want to move out of this country
Oof.
and just live on
I'm
a
gonna tell you right now,
farm.
it's the same. It's the same
It's
anywhere
gonna
else.
be the
I will
same
say,
no matter where you
because you know
go.
what, people will never let you do that.
It's the same. Society is pretty much the same no matter where you go. Like, in other countries, there might be a little bit less racism, but like, it's society is all pretty much the
No,
same.
I'm not, like, I mean, immigrants, hello, we're all of us. But it's like, you know, I think about it sometimes and it kind of hits me weird. I'm like, imagine looking around at literally everything. I mean, absolutely everything I know, and just grabbing what little I can and dipping with the hope and the dream that I can accomplish this little piece of me that's like, I want that peace and serenity, and I know it's out there, and going and having to literally kill myself for it just to have it for maybe, I'll be generous, 5-7 years, and then die. And even now, as I mean, most Americans now are American immigrants, or first generation, saw our parents, and like maybe our parents, like depending on when they came and how old they are, um, maybe got those 5-7 years, or are in those 5-7 years, or are close to it. But it's like, as first gens, we and experiencing America as in its most rawest, with that weight of expectancy, and we see it and we're like, but we're not going to be able to get that either. We're not even going to get those 5 years. It's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And now, at least, it's kind of spreading back to our home countries that it's not real anymore. The American dream died with the war.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But people also forget that that whole American dream and the war is so recent. And that's why it's still lingering, because it's like a butterfly effect.
Well, I
But
also think that
it's finally like hitting them.
I think that a part of the reason why a lot of people still think that the American dream is an attainable lifestyle, for lack of a better word, um, is because, like, especially nowadays in America, like, people can make so much money doing the most random, out of pocket, rude, racist, like, absolutely disgusting shit in the world. And they make more money than any of us will ever see in our lives combined.
I
And
mean,
it's like
yeah.
people are, making a living off playing video games online, and people are making a living just showing off their clothes online. And so that even American people, like everyone, like see these people, these influencers, these content creators, and all these people that seem like they have such an easy job, which I would say in comparison to most working people, they do. But it's like, it seems like it's not so far from our grasp, because so many people now are able to live that lifestyle. But in reality, it's like, it's still not even that attainable. And even if it is, like, it's becoming so oversaturated that it's gonna go away just as quickly as it came,
feel like I feel like the problem is right. I feel like the world as a whole is just way too materialistic. And I feel like
Yeah.
that's the main problem because like most of the time when people like think of the American dream, they think of materialistic stuff. Like they're like, "Oh, I want a big house. Oh, I want like a nice car. I want whatever, right? Whatever it is they want. It's like it's mostly materialistic stuff. Most of the quote unquote American dream stuff, it has nothing to do with actually being happy. It has nothing to do with actually enjoying your life. It's literally just I want stuff.
Well, also, it's like no people are materialistic because, like, that is what society deems as, like,
Valid.
yeah, and like rewards for
Yeah,
your hard work. And
yeah.
also, like, even like you said, getting a nice or a decent house or a good car that takes you places, like, those are also just honestly like basic things that people need in order to live
So
in this world.
when I
Well, at
say
least like in America.
when I say like a nice car, I don't mean like something that's just gonna get you from place to place. No, I mean like when I think of people with the American dream in their heads, I mean they want like a Lambo or something.
Mm.
Um
Oh man, like is
Lambo
it
cash.
and
and
like
no, but even then it's like, is it so
so that's we're gonna end the podcast for this week. We obviously kept recording after this, but that was a very long recording session and it's just gonna get split up. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to us so far. I hope you guys tune in next week to see what we talk about because it does get wild. So, with that being said, thanks for watching.